This concept we have entered into now, I termed more advanced word problems. As you can see, we have treated word problems that lead to fractions. But now is a concept that is a little bit more advanced than the one we treated before. The first question there says that the sum of 2 and x divides 20 to get 4 as a result. We are now asked to find the value of x. If you look very closely, they said the sum of 2 and x. That means 2 plus x divides. That means divides 20. That means we have 20 divided by 2 plus x to get 4. That means the result becomes 4. We are asked to find the value of x. We have set the mathematical statement. Now from here, what this means is 20 divided by 2 plus x is equal to 4 all over 1. I only wrote 4 to be 4 over 1 in fraction form. The next thing you do is cross multiply. 4 times 2 plus x will leave you with 4 into 2 plus x. And it's going to be equal to 20 times 1 will give you 20. Remove brackets. 4 times 2 will give you 8. And 4 times plus x will give you plus 4x. It's going to be equal to 20. Sorry, 20. Now, subtract 8 from both sides of the equation so as to remove 8 from the left-hand side, and we'll be left with only 4x, which is now going to be equal to 20 minus 8. Another way to do it is, since you have 8 here as plus 8, move it to the right-hand side, it will change to minus 8. Just as I explained before. Now, 4x will be equal to 20 minus 8. You'll be left with 12. Divide both sides by 4 so as to eliminate 4, that is the coefficient of x in the left-hand side of the equation. When you do so, x only will be left in the left-hand side of the equation. While the right-hand side, you have 12 divided by 4. And 12 divided by 4 has the value 3. That means x becomes the value of, 3 becomes the value of x in that equation. Think of a number. That number you would think of, use any letter you like to represent it. I want to use y and represent the number I think of. Let the number I think of be y. They said, think of a number and subtract 5 from it. Subtract 5 from y. If you use the result, that is y minus 5, and divide 72, that means 72 divided by the result of the number I thought of and subtracted 5 from, which is y minus 5. If you do it and get 4, that means if it should become 4, which number did you think of initially? What is the value of y? That is what the question is asking for. What this means is 72 divided by y minus 5 is equal to 4. That clearly will be 72 divided by y minus 5 is equal to 4 all over 1. Please cross multiply at this junction. 4 times y minus 5 will give you 4 into y minus 5. And it's going to be equal to 72 times 1 will give you 72. Remove brackets. 4 times y will give you 4y, while 4 minus 5 will give you minus 20. It's going to be equal to 72. Move minus 20 from the left-hand side of the equation to the right-hand side. Remember, it will change to plus 20 at the right-hand side of the equation. So we'll be left with only 4y. On the left-hand side is going to be equal to 72. Instead of minus 20, you have plus 20. That means 4y is equal to 72 plus 20 will give you 92. Divide both sides by 4 so as to remove 4 from in front of y. When you do that, you'll be left with only y in the left-hand side, and it's going to be equal to 92 all over 4. 2 divides 4 will give you, or 4 divides 4 is 1. 4 divides 9 is 2. You'll be left with 1. Divides 12 is 3. That means your y is equal to 23. Question number 3 says this. In a viewing center, there are X number of seats. You know what a viewing center is. Those places they stay to watch films. Some people stay there to watch football. Some stay there to watch wrestling, and so on. And when they sit to watch, they pay. Okay? So in a viewing center, there are X number of seats. If 280 people are seated, the cost of the remaining seats is 38,400 naira. If 280 are seated, the remaining is going to be X minus 22,280, sorry. Because X is the total number of seats. If 280 are seated, the remaining is X minus 280. That means X minus 280 is equal to 38,400. Now the question number A says, find the cost of a seat in terms of X. If this number of seats, X, the total number of seats, minus 280, when they are seated, is this. That means only one seat is going to be equal to 1 divided by X minus 280 times 38,400 all over 1. One seat, this one means one seat, is going to cost 1 times 38,400 will give you 38,400 all over X minus 280 times 1 will give you X minus 280. So this value in naira is the value of 1 seat. The second question, this is question number A answered now. Question number B says, if a seat costs this, remember that this is the cost of 1 seat. Then they are saying if this cost of 1 seat is 120, find the total number of seats in the viewing center. What that question is trying to tell us is we should equate this value for 1 seat to 120. From there, we'll find the value of X, which will give us the total number of seats. We're going to have 38400 all over x minus 280 will now be equated to 120 all over 1. And just write root 120 all over 1 so that it will be a fraction form. Cross multiply. (120) times x minus 280 will give you 120 into x minus 280. Is going to be equal to 1 times 38,400 will give you 38,400. (120) times x will give you 120x. Then 120 times minus 280 will give you 120 times 280 is equal to 33,600. It's going to be minus 33,600 is equal to 38,400. Now, move minus 33,600 from the left-hand side of the equation to the right-hand side. I hope you know it will change to plus. That means in the left-hand side, you're going to have 120x only left. It's going to be equal to 38,400. 38,400 now plus, instead of minus, 33,600. If you add 33,600 and 38,400, you are going to have 38,400. 72,000. That means 120x is equal to 72,000. Divide both sides by 120 so as to eliminate 120 that is coefficient of x on the left hand side. We are going to be left with only x in the left hand side of the equation, and the right hand side we have 72,000 divided by 120. Use 120 to divide 72,000. You're going to have 600 left. That means there are 606 altogether in the viewing center. Assuming Chelsea scored 42 goals in a season. Up Chelsea. If they had played 2 matches less, their goal average would have been 3 per match. In a season, assuming they played 42 goals, they scored 42 goals. And if they had played 2 matches less, first of all, let the number of matches they played in that season. Let the number of matches Chelsea played. Let it be represented by X. So in one season, they scored 42 goals, assuming. But if they had played 2 matches less, that means 42 all over X, the number of goals they scored divided by the number of matches they played, could have given you the average scores. Okay, but the question says, if they had played 2 matches less, that means the average goals scored would have been 42 all over X minus 2. Had it been they played 2 matches less than the number of matches they played. That means if they had played 2 matches less, their goal average would have been 3. That means these 2 matches less which they played, or if they would have played, that we got from 42, which is the number of matches, the number of goals they scored, over X, the number of matches they played, minus 2, if they had played 2 less, will be equated to the average, which is 3, as we have collected from the equation. So this is the equation now. What I'm going to do here now, you cross multiply. 3 times x minus 2 will give you 3 into x minus 2. And it's going to be equal to 42 times 1 will give you 42. Remove the bracket. 3 times x will give you 3x. 3 times minus 2 will give you minus 6. It's equal to 42. Take minus 6 from the left hand side to the right hand side. You'll be left with only x in the left hand side, and it's going to be equal to 42 plus 6. Remember, when minus 6 is leaving the left hand side to the right hand side to change to plus 6. 3x will be 42 plus 6 will give you 48. Divide both sides by 3 so as to eliminate 3 as the coefficient of x in the left hand side. When you do so, x will be left only in the left hand side, and it's going to be equal to 48 divided by 3. And 48 divided by 3 is equal to 3 divides 4 is 1. You'll be left with 1. 3 divides 18 is 6. That means that Chelsea in that season played 16 matches of Chelsea. The two triangles are similar. This triangle and this triangle, they are similar. Use their dimensions to find the values of the sides BC in both triangles. The law that is authentic in similarities of figures is the law of ratio. And we derive the law of ratio from division. So in these similar triangles, if actually the two triangles are similar, that means the side that is BC and the side that is BA or AB that is given, BC, AB. If you say BC divided by AB, it will be equal to BC divided by AB in the second triangle, as long as they are similar. And that's exactly what we are going to do now. That means in the first triangle, BC is D, so write D. AB is 4 divided by 4. It must be equal to the same BC in the second triangle, which is D plus 2. Write D plus 2. All over AB, which is 5. You have finished constructing the mathematical figures. Now, cross multiply. You're going to have 4 times D plus 2. It's going to give you 4 into D plus 2. It's going to be equal to 5 times D will give you 5D. Remove bracket. You have 4 times D will give you 4D plus 4 times 2, which will give you 8. Is equal to 5D. Take 4D from the left-hand side of the equation to the right-hand side. It will change to minus. You'll be left with only 8 in the left-hand side of the equation, and it's going to be equal to 5D minus 4D. Remember, if 4D is to leave the left-hand side to the right-hand side, it will change to minus 4D. 8 is equal to 5D minus 4D will give you D. That means the value of D is 8 centimeters. Let me write it the other way. D is equal to 8 centimeters. If D is 8 centimeters, that means D or BC in the first triangle, is 8 centimeters. While in the second triangle, BC will be, since we have D plus 2, it's going to be D plus 2, which is 10 centimeters. That means 8, which is D, plus 2, which is already attached to the value of the BC in the triangle. The length of the adjacent sides of a rectangle differs by 5 cm. What this means is, let one of the sides of that rectangle be represented by x, or let the length of the rectangle be represented by x. Now this x now, if the other side, which is the breadth, differs by 5 cm, that means the breadth will measure x minus 5 cm. That is what it means. That is the first rectangle. Another rectangle similar to it measures 18 cm by 28 cm. As I told you, the only principle that is very common is similarity of shapes or figures, is the law of ratio, which is obtained by division. Now, if this is the length of the first rectangle and this is the breadth, if you say x, which is the length, divided by the breadth, which is x minus 5, it's going to be the same thing with the length, which is 28 of the second rectangle, divided by 18, which is the breadth of the second rectangle, if at all the two rectangles are similar to themselves. That means this equation is correct. Cross multiply. X times 18 will leave you with 18x, which is equal to 28 times x minus 5 will give you 28 into x minus 5. Remove bracket from the right hand side of the equation. 28x on 28 times x will give you 28x. Now use a calculator to multiply 28 and 5. 28 times 5 is giving us 140. Remember, it is 28 times minus 5, so the answer will be minus 140. In the left hand side we have 18x. Now move 28x from the right hand side to the left hand side. You are going to have in the left hand side 18x minus 28x. It will now be equal to 140, which is, minus 140, which is in the right hand side of the equation. Subtract 28 from 18. You are going to have minus 10. It's just like subtracting 18 from 28. Whatever you have should be a minus. We have minus 10x in the left hand side of the equation is now equal to minus 140. Divide both sides by minus 10. You'll be left with only x in the left hand side, and in the right hand side you have minus 140 divided by minus 10. You can cancel this. You can cancel this. So x will be equal to 14 centimeters, which is the length of the first rectangle. Now the breadth is x minus 5. X minus 5 is going to give you 9 centimeters. That means this is the breadth, while this is the length of the first rectangle, which the question has asked us to calculate its length and its breadth. A teacher is 24 years older than his student. If the ratio of their ages is 5:2, find the age of the student. Let the age of the student be represented with any letter. Let's choose S. Let X be the age of the student. Now from the first sentence, they say that the teacher is 24 years older than the student. That means the age of the teacher now will be X plus 24 years. So if this is the age of the student, that means X plus 24 years will be the age of the teacher. Now, the question went further and said, if the ratio of their ages is 5:2, since 5 is greater, 5 will be equivalent to the age of the greater person, which is the teacher, while 2, that is smaller, will be the age of the lesser person in age, which is the student. In that case now, the way we are going to form our mathematical concept is 5 all over 2, which means the older or the greater ratio divided by the lower ratio will be equal to the age of the teacher, which is greater, X plus 24, all over the age of the student, which is smaller. You can cross multiply. 2 divided X plus 24 will give you 2 into X plus 24. It's going to be equal to 5 times X will give you 5X. Now remove brackets. 2 times X will give you 2X. Plus 2 times 24 will give you 48. It's equal to 5X. Bring 5X to the left hand side of the equation and take plus 48 to the right hand side. You are going to have 2X minus 5X plus 5X coming to the left hand side, we change to minus 5X. It's equal to plus 48 going to the right hand side of the equation, we change to minus 48. 3X minus 5X, you have minus 3X. It's going to be equal to minus 48. Divide both sides by minus 3, so as to eliminate minus 3 from the left hand side of the equation. If you do so, you are going to have X is equal to minus 48 divided by minus 3. Minus can cancel minus. 3 divides 4 will give you 1. You'll be left with 1. 3 divides 18 will give you 6. That means X, which is the age of the student, is 16 years. The age difference of two friends is 3 years. Age difference. Let the age of one of them be represented by X. If X years is the age of one of those friends, that means the other friends, his age will be either X plus 3 or X minus 3. As long as there is the difference of 3 years, is either plus or minus. But let's go by plus. Even if you go by minus, you still get your correct answer. Now the second sentence says 5 years ago, the ratio of their ages is 4:5, 4:3. 5 years ago, that means the first friend will be X minus 5 years, while the second friend will be X plus 3, then minus 5. 5 years ago. Their ages was at the ratio of 4:3. Remember what I told you. If you divide this ratio and you have 4 all over 3 is going to be equal to the age of the bigger person, which is x plus 3 minus 5 years ago. So write as the numerator x plus 3 minus 5. Then all over the age of the smaller friend, which is x minus 5 years ago. X minus 5. You have built your instruction or your equation. Now cross multiply. 4 times x minus 5 will give you 4 into x minus 5. It's going to be equal to 3 times x plus 3 minus 5. X plus 3 minus 5 is something as x minus 2, because 3 minus 5 is minus 2. So in that place, you're going to have 3 into x minus 2 instead of 3 into x plus 2 minus 5. Remove bracket. 4 times x will give you 4x. 4 times minus 5 will give you minus 20. It's going to be equal to 3 times x is giving you 3x, while 3 times minus 2 will give you minus 6. Collect like terms now. In the left hand side of the equation we have 4x. Bring 3x from the right hand side to the left hand side to change to minus 3x. It's equal to, already we have minus 6 in the right hand side. Bring minus 20 to the right hand side to change to plus 20. Now 4x minus 3x will give you x. What this means is 20 minus 6, and 20 minus 6 is 14. One of them is 14, that is x. That means the age of the second person is x plus 3, which will be 14 plus 3. And 14 plus 3 is 17 years.